Dobre rano and good morning from the Czech Republic. I am here right now to explore one of the country's most beautiful regions. I'm going to be doing the hike called the Golden Trail, or as the Czechs call it, Zlata Stezka. Now, is this the best hike in the entire country? Well, I'm about to find out. So, come on, let's go. I am starting in České Budějovice on one of the connecting trails that joins up to the Golden Trail. I decided to break the southern Bohemian part of the hike into 4 stages covering approximately 110 kilometers and ending in Kašperské Hory. On day 1, I would leave České Budějovice and arrive to Holešovice, covering roughly 23.9 kilometers and approximately 450 meters of elevation, taking roughly 6 to 7 hours. Heading west from the capital of South Bohemia, I would quickly exchange the urban landscape for a rural one, with the city just a glimmer in the distance before making it to the lake area of Chybin, and continuing on to Slavče, before climbing to the top of Kluk, a 741 meter peak that provided an amazing view of the region. Then I would walk the remaining 6 kilometers to the day's endpoint of Holešovice and calling it a night. The next morning, I would take a quick look around this UNESCO World Heritage Site, special for its folk-style Baroque buildings, built and decorated in the second half of the 19th century. I would check out a museum with old farm equipment, as well as a pottery shop and what the locals call Czech Stonehenge, before heading on my way. On day 2, I would leave Holešovice and arrive to Prakatice, covering roughly 32.8 kilometers and approximately 950 meters of elevation, taking roughly 8 to 10 hours. Within a few kilometers, I would pass through some diverse landscape, entering deep into the forest and eventually into the Garden of South Bohemia, known for its fertile farmland. I could see off in the distance a small town overlooking what felt like a giant sea of crops. Once in the center of Lehenice, I took a quick break to admire the church before hiking west out of town, uphill along the blue hiking trail. Trekking across hillsides and valleys, through one small town after another. The final section, I would go through some really nice woods, fields, and meadows before reaching Prakatice. Prakatice is right in the heart of the Golden Trail, and it is easily one of the highlights of the entire hike. So the next morning, I wandered around the town and even stumbled across this museum dedicated to the Golden Trail, which explains the importance this trade route had on the region. Oddly enough, salt was what was traded most in those days. The museum can be explored in 30 to 45 minutes and was great motivation to keep hiking. On day 3, I would leave Prakatice and arrive to Vimperk, covering roughly 25.7 kilometers and approximately 825 meters of elevation, taking roughly 7 to 8 hours. On the way out of town, I would come up to Žižkova Skalka, a rock monument offering a great view from above the city. After a few kilometers hiking through the Bohemian landscape, I reached the small town of Husinec, which was the birthplace to Jan Hus, an important historical figure in the Czech Republic. There is a museum where his house was, which is a great place to take a quick break if you're a history buff. For the next several kilometers, I would pass through some more small towns and forests. I would stop at the Marski Weg viewing tower and chapel to admire the view before continuing on the last 7 kilometers to the day's endpoint of Vimperk. On day 4, I would leave Vimperk and arrive to Kašperské Hory, covering roughly 27.2 kilometers and approximately 950 meters of elevation, taking roughly 7 to 8 hours. Vimperk is a very beautiful town and well worth taking a walk around, and if you have the time, check out the Vimperk Chateau. As I left town, it was easy to understand why it's called the Gateway to Šumava. Šumava is one of the Czech Republic's most beautiful national parks. 6 kilometers later, I decided to stop in the town of Zdíkov, where I would enjoy a Czech specialty. Not long after, I was entering the town of Stocky. With each step, I got closer to the end of my multi-day hike in South Bohemia. Also feel free to do sections one at a time, or do this entire hike in 5 or more days. Just go at the pace that suits you. Out of nowhere, popped out the glorious Kašperské Castle. Here you can go on a tour of this ancient fortress and learn about its history and even climb one of its towers. A small declining walk later, and I was at the end point, the royal town of Kašperské Hory. Alright, I just made it to Kašperské Hory, which means I have completed the Golden Trail in the southern Bohemian region, and I have hiked more than 110 kilometers. Is this the best hike in the Czech Republic? Well, I had a great time, but I'd like to know what you think. Please let me know in the comment box below. I saw some really great nature, went through some small towns, and saw things that I think even most Czechs have never seen. So, if you would like to recreate this trail, I definitely recommend checking out the Zlata Stezka website, which is very informative. They have maps, they have information that will greatly help you plan your trip to this region. Until next time, safe travels. Don't leave yet. There's tons of great videos to keep watching. More importantly, did you subscribe yet?